What if you were given the power to change your life with just one wish? Sounds tempting, doesn't it? But what if every wish came with a dark, terrifying twist? In the monkey's paw, a seemingly innocent artifact, known for granting its wielder 3 wishes, hides a chilling secret. One that has the power to ruin lives in the most unimaginable ways. This story will make you question, what price would you be willing to pay for your desires? Prepare for a journey filled with suspense, regret, and the horrifying consequences of tampering with fate. Once upon a time, in a quiet, peaceful village, there lived a family by the name of White. The family consisted of the father, Mr. White, his wife, Mrs. White, and their son, Herbert. The family lived a simple life, content with the modest comforts they had. One evening, a mysterious visitor arrived at their home, a man named Sergeant Major Morris. He had spent years in India and returned with strange tales. And with him, he brought an eerie object, a small, mummified monkey's paw. With an air of warning, Sergeant Major Morris explained that the paw had magical powers, able to grant 3 wishes to anyone who possessed it. However, he also cautioned the Whites of its dark history. Be careful, he warned, because every wish comes at a terrible cost. He told them that the paw had already claimed the lives of those who used it, and no one should dare to make a wish with it. But despite his warnings, Mr. White, curious and desperate for change, took the paw and made a wish. His first wish was simple and harmless enough, for 200 pounds. The very next day, a tragic accident at work claimed the life of young Herbert, their son. The family received the exact amount they had wished for, but the source of the money was far from what they had expected. Grief-stricken and unable to cope with the loss of their son, Mrs. White, in her desperation, insisted that they use the paw again. She wanted to wish for Herbert's return. Mr. White was hesitant, but the pain of losing their son pushed him to make the wish, despite the fear that lingered in his heart. Later that night, as the wind howled outside their home, a knock came at the door. Mrs. White rushed to answer it, believing it was Herbert, returned from the grave. But what stood outside was far from the son they had lost. It was a disfigured, unnatural version of Herbert, twisted by death. Terrified, Mr. White knew they had made a mistake, one they could not undo. In a panic, Mr. White used his final wish to undo the horror they had unleashed. The knocking stopped, and the house fell silent. What had been granted could not be taken back, and the couple was left to deal with the terrifying consequences of meddling with fate. The monkey's paw is a haunting reminder of the dangers of unchecked desire and the cost of tampering with fate. The Whites learned, too late, that some powers are better left untouched, and some wishes are better left unmade. Would you risk everything for a single wish? After hearing this chilling tale, you may think twice before ever making a wish again.